안녕하십니까. 오늘은 지난 25일부터 29일까지 부산에서 열린 세계 지능형 교통시스템 대회에 참석하셔서 네트워크 차량이라는 새로운 개념을 소개시키신 캐나다의 NVA 협회 앤드루 페니 회장을 모시고 새로운 개념인 IT와 차량의 결합에 대해서 말씀을 들어보기로 하겠습니다. NVA라는 캐나다의 단체는 언제 어떻게 형성이 됐는지 설명을 부탁드리겠습니다.
Yes, it was the NVA was formed about 4 years ago in Toronto. BMW asked us to put together a group of technology people so that they could test some of their ideas and perhaps create some new ideas around where they should be taking their ICT directions. They came to Canada primarily because we have access to a very large organization called the Canadian Advanced Technology Alliance that has something like 3,000 members in high technology. So we use that as a platform to choose a number of technology firms from Canada, but also from the United States as well, to bring them together to talk about technology.
어떻게 해서 BMW가 캐나다의 회사를 선정하고 캐나다 쪽에 도움을 요청하게 된 이유는 어디 있다고 보십니까?
Well, Canada has a very strong relationship with the United States. We're kind of the gateway to the United States. And Canada builds about 1.5 million cars a year. So we've got a solid automotive platform there. We also have some very strong information communications technology people. And it was natural for them to look to almost a neutral country. They wanted to have somebody outside of the normal way of thinking, somebody who could act as a mediator and a broker between different kinds of technology and facilitate an exciting, interesting kind of exchange of ideas, which is what we did.
네트워크화한 차량, 즉 네트워크 비어클에 대한 컨셉에 대해서 좀 설명을 해주시면 감사하겠습니다. 한국에 있는 분들은 아직 이런 새로운 컨셉에 대해서 생소하게 여기고 계시거든요.
Today, I think most vehicles have some sort of connection to a network, whether it's with a cell phone or a navigation system. But that communication is really a single link. It's typically information going to the vehicle. What we're seeing emerging now is a parallel with the Web 2.0, where each PC is connected with high bandwidth and really is a full part of the network, in fact, a full part of the cloud. Cars are not there yet, but with the high bandwidth mobile communication systems such as LTE or 4G coming along, there's the opportunity to make each car kind of a broadband node. And when you do that, you're going to collect information from the car, you're going to give information back to the car, but you end up creating a global network of intelligent nodes, and those nodes gather gigabits of information every time they go over a bump or hit a brake or go through a snow or congestion or rain, and that data can then be aggregated and shared the same way that Google gathers information and does good things, most of the time does good things with it, or Facebook allows us to share lots of information in many different ways. I think when we have a fully networked vehicle, we're going to see some tremendous benefits.
내년에 캐나다에서 이 네트워크 차량과 관련해서 행사가 열린다고 들었는데요. 이 넷카 2.0이라는 행사에 대해서 간략하게 설명을 해주시겠습니까?
Netcar 2.0 is planned for the first or the second week in June of next year. We're going to be holding it in Montreal. The actual content of that conference is still being determined. Initially, some of the things we want to talk about are things like distracted driving, some of the electronic environment monitoring issues, carbon reduction capability. There's a lot of interest in carbon credit reduction and how we might use a network vehicle to achieve that kind of thing. And also looking at some of the vertical services that would come from different carriers. Our last conference had a tremendous amount of interest in electronic vehicles and hybrid vehicles, and we anticipate that that also will be an element of the discussion next year. electronic or electric vehicle can make tremendous use of a network environment. If it knows where it's going, if it knows what congestion is going to be ahead, then you can choose a route that will give the optimal range. Because that's the biggest problem with an electric vehicle right now is fear that you'll run out of electricity.
Yeah.
So if you can manage your route effectively, an electronic vehicle can do much better. The other thing that's happening with electric vehicles is effectively they're a storage system. So if the electrical grid generates electricity, sometimes it doesn't have enough. So there's the ability to pull power back from the car to supply the peak. So if the electrical system needs a certain amount of energy, rather than serving the peak, it can say, oh, and then it pulls the power from a car to give it the peak power. If you've got 1 million cars in your area, in your electric grid, there's an awful lot of stored electricity that you can use to buffer. But to do that, you need a networked environment. Electric vehicle is going to be a good portion of the conference in June of next year.
전기 자동차하고 IT, 네트워크 비어클하고 관계는 굉장히 긴밀한 것 같습니다. 기존의 한국의 가솔린 차량 업체들이 IT하고 접목하는 것보다 전기 차량하고 접목하는 게 훨씬 더 유리하고 발전적이죠.
The electric vehicles or hybrid vehicles are certainly becoming more and more popular and going to become a higher percentage of the vehicle fleet. But the way that they're powered really doesn't make a lot of difference in terms of whether or not they're in the network. The electric vehicle will get tremendous benefits from being networked, though, because of its the difficulty with having enough power. By being networked, it can better manage its power. It can determine where it can get more power on a dynamic basis. So I think the advantage is certainly there, that it will benefit from it. But a regular combustion vehicle can reduce the amount of pollutants it creates if it can do its route planning better, if it can manage its speed. If you know that red light or that traffic light is going to turn red, you can start slowing down rather than stopping at the red light. So it'll help both kinds of vehicles very, very importantly.
그렇다면 전력 회사들도 참여하고 있습니까?
Absolutely. Yeah, at the last conference, Duke Energy was a participant. Duke Energy, one of the largest power suppliers in the southern U.S. And we're also working very closely with Hydro-Quebec, one of Canada's largest hydropower manufacturers. Interestingly, as a hydro company, water-powered electricity, they have clean energy. So the more cars that they can supply with their clean energy, the better it is for the environment.
오랜 시간 동안 감사드립니다. 감사합니다.
감사합니다.